Happy holidays, everyone. It's day 990, Christmas Day Conditioning, the Peloton edition. Yeah, so it's day 990, which also just happens to be Christmas 2024. And I'm with my family. We're here in Flagstaff, Arizona, because my two daughters are island girls, and they have never actually seen snow in nature in real life. So for their benefit, I brought them to a place near my workplace that actually has some snow. So here at the Hyatt House in Flagstaff, they have a Peloton, and that's what I'm going to do for my conditioning today. Like I mentioned in my previous post, I'm adding the X-Wing bike seat for some additional cushion. This Peloton seat does not look like the most comfortable, and I plan on going for a miserable 2-hour, 60-kilometer ride today. Alright, I guess this video is kind of also my Peloton product review. Now, in full transparency, folks, I gotta be honest with you, I've never been one for group fitness. I absolutely hated Platoon PT. At one point, I had my CrossFit level 1, taught that for a while. Not really a fan, not because of the methodology, but just the group fitness aspect. Orange Theory, F45, boot camps, none of these are really my thing. Not to say that they aren't effective or that they can't be a thing for other people. I personally don't enjoy them. So my personal bias kind of immediately put a sour taste in my mouth towards Pelotons in general. I'm not a fan of the fact that you can't just put it on a manual setting like on a Precor or a Life Fitness bike and just set the resistance, set the time, and go. But I acquiesced to the Peloton system, having no other choice besides this, a treadmill, or an elliptical at the hotel. And I chose a 120-minute program with a variety of international instructors, I suppose. And I immediately started to see the appeal of this particular device. So, first and foremost, the hardware is pretty impressive. The external speakers on this little TV screen, well, little, it's actually a massive TV screen for an exercise bike, were very loud. I mean, this little hotel gym pretty much turned into a club as soon as I started pedaling. So that right there kind of made the environment more conducive to having a good workout, so I appreciated that. And as much as I say I'm kind of more intrinsically motivated when it comes to my fitness pursuits, it is cool to see the running leaderboard as you're doing your bike session, so you can see where you're at out of the, in this particular workout, 20,000 people that have done it before. It's a good comparative indicator of your fitness level. And while it didn't really give you the ability to manually set certain parameters at the beginning of your session, it did track all the metrics throughout the session and gave you a pretty accurate readout at the end. So it gave me, kcals, obviously, gave me distance, gave me time, tracked my average RPMs, average wattage, highs of both of those things, resistance, as well as position on the leaderboard. And you could adjust that too to give you a readout of different age brackets, so like 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, male, female, so like gender groups, or just overall leaderboard status. Alright, so let's get into the actual workout before we conclude my review of the Peloton itself. I tried to come up with the Peloton equivalent of what I normally do on the Precor or the Life Fitness. So my new standard is level 15 resistance on the Life Fitness bike. I haven't had a chance to test out what my new standard would be on a Precor yet. But with that, I had to play around with the resistance at first to figure out where 18.6 miles per hour with some difficulty would be. 18.6 being, of course, 30K. That ended up being around 50% resistance. I say 50% because on the Peloton, there's a little orange knob on the frame that if you twist it left or, I guess, counterclockwise, it lowers the resistance. If you twist it right or clockwise, it increases the resistance. So I played around with it. until I hit about 50% resistance. Then I started over so that the entire 2-hour bike session would be in 50% resistance. That way I could standardize my kcal, time, etc. metrics. Normally on a Precor Life Fitness bike, I'll just do an hour straight and shut it down, and that hour will include about 50 or so minutes, so to 25 kilometers, 15.55 miles of zone 2 at a cruising pace of, like low to mid 200 watts. And then that last 5 kilometers to 30, I'll do 5 iterations of zone 5 max output sprints. But to not overcomplicate things, what I did instead here on the Peloton is just double the distance time domain and finished in 2 hours at just over 60 kilometers, 37.51 miles. After that, did some mobility. I was a little tight for obvious reasons. Did some quadruplexing. There was no bar to hang from, so I just did some Deadbugs for abs. Went upstairs to watch the kids open some gifts, and then afterwards, we drove up a little further north to hit the slopes so the kids could see some snow. And that was Christmas Day, folks, day 990. Thanks for watching.